The short answer to how did we manage to raise 33 million in 8 months is a lot of luck, but surely there's more to it than that. So look forward to taking you through the 8th-month journey, and of course it extends a bit beyond 8 months. So we'll talk about some of what led up to the start of the journey as well. So first, just to give a brief background on what is Navdi. So imagine driving in your car with your turn-by-turn navigation, your text messages, notifications of phone calls, and your music all appearing as an image that appears to float outside of your windshield. And in a nutshell, that's what Navdi is. It works in any car. Any consumer can add it to their car, and it works with your smartphone to accomplish the magic. And we think it really makes the driving experience so much better. So on to funding. So to give a quick overview of what the major milestones looked like. So July of last year was when we raised our seed round. Up until that point, we were bootstrapped, no funding. And we were trying to raise 2.4 million. So very fortunately, we were oversubscribed and somehow ended up completing a $6.5 million round. And then after that, we launched a pre-order campaign. So August of last year was the public launch of Navdi, and we invited customers to pre-order the product in advance in exchange for discounts. And to our amazement, we had $6.7 million in pre-orders from people all around the world. So I'll talk a bit about how that happened. And then following that, in February of this year, we raised our Series A round. That was targeted to be 15 million. Again, very fortunate to be oversubscribed, and that ended up being a $20 million round. So all in, it's 33 million. But to be clear, the $6.7 million in pre-orders is not something we consider as funding per se. We've never used those funds to fund the operation of the company. Those funds are set aside, simply for fulfilling the pre-orders to customers. So the 33 million is a combination of 27 million from investors and 6.7 million in pre-orders. So I'd like to talk about the timeline, and the journey, of course, starts with a great idea and a great team, and I think those really are the two most important ingredients. If the idea is not right, the market timing is not right, and you don't have a great team, then kind of nothing that I say from this point forward matters. It's really obviously very important to get those key ingredients right the first time. But once we had an idea that we thought was amazing, and we felt there was an opportunity, and we felt there were many other people in the world, in addition to ourselves, who wanted a better driving experience. We then thought about joining an incubator program. So we were, like many others, familiar with Y Combinator, and being a hardware startup, we saw that there were many incubator programs starting to be formed, and we were very interested in joining one of those. So a requirement of most of those programs is that you have a functional prototype. So we wanted to build a functional prototype for that reason, and also to prove to ourselves that our idea was technically feasible. So we knew there was technology in the marketplace. There was head-up displays available, but they're usually extremely large systems built into the dashboard, and very large optical arrays and lighting systems. So we weren't really sure if it could be shrunk down to something the size of the palm of your hand. So the first step was creating a functional prototype. It wasn't a pretty prototype. It was held together with rubber bands and duct tape, but it did work. It was to the right form factor. It was a beautiful display. So with that functional prototype, we applied to an incubator program called Highway 1 that's run by PCH, which is actually an Irish company. And we started at Highway 1. We were the first class when they had launched Highway 1 in October of 2013. We spent 4 months with Highway 1. During that time, we refined the prototype. We worked with 10 other hardware startups. So it was great to share learnings and experiences with other hardware startups that were on a journey like ours. And at the end of those 4 months, in February, in February 2014, there was a demo day that Highway 1 had put together. That demo day, there were about 300 investors that were invited. So that was the first time that we started raising funding. So up until that point, we were bootstrapped. We were a very small company. But we got the opportunity to present Navdi to those 300 investors. Out of that presentation, we had about 17 investors who were interested to learn more. So we had follow-up meeting with those investors. Some of those were angels. They then introduced us to other investors to help us fill out the round. And we ended up with about 63 investors that were potentially interested. So the response was very good. And that then led to closing, the $6.5 million seed round. So that was July 2014. So, definitely joining Highway 1 and having the opportunity to present at Demo Day was, very, very key elements to our success. So then we had always planned, though, to do a pre-order campaign or a crowdfunding campaign, something like the campaigns you see on Kickstarter, except we really wanted to do it on our own website. We really wanted to be able to fully customize the experience on the website and really be able to tell our story in our own way. So we then started thinking about how we would explain this product, and being a very visual product, how we would make it where they let customers experience what the product would be like. So we felt a great video was very important, and I think this is a key success element for most pre-order campaigns or crowdfunding campaigns. So we worked with Adam at a company called Sandwich Video, and he's helped quite a lot of tech startups kind of launch their company and tell their story. And he did amazing things for us. So once we had completed the video, then the next step was a media tour. So in the U.S., we presented to 23 journalists. We worked with a great PR firm called Awareness that helped us contact those journalists and helped us get ready to tell the story. So after meeting with 23 journalists, then somehow when we launched in August, that blossomed into 400 articles all around the world, just from those 23 meetings. So, and I think a lot of the reason that happened, goes back to the video and being able to tell the story in a very clear and easy to understand way, but also in a way that's entertaining. So, the video got about 1.5 million views on YouTube. So, fortunately, a lot of people around the world, decided to share our video, and that really helped spread the message and build a lot of excitement. So if I look back on, why did we get such an incredible response? I think it's partially because we have, a product that's both novel and useful. We think it solves a very important problem that's, easy for people to understand. That's, something we all experience, kind of the frustration of fumbling around with your phone in the car, of the built-in infotainment system maybe not being as good as it can be, the integration of your phone with the driving experience not being as seamless as it can be. So we think novel and useful product, video that explains the solution to that problem in a way that's both entertaining and informative. We're kind of key parts to the success. So, that resulted in $6.7 million in pre-orders, far exceeded our expectations. It's a relatively expensive product. People paid $300 for the product in advance. There's a company that I'm sure you've heard of called Oculus Rift who had a product at a $300 price point. They were able to raise about $2.4 million in pre-orders in their first 30 days. So that was our benchmark. We thought that would represent incredible success if we could do something similar to that. At the end of our first 30 days, we had $2.5 million in pre-orders. And then, from August to December, that had grown to $6.7 million. So when we raised the $6.5 million seed, we expected that funding to last through product development and help us deliver whatever pre-orders we received. So we didn't imagine that we would be raising funding again in 2014 or even in early 2015. We thought it would be sometime later 2015 once we had shipped that we would start raising funding again. But because the momentum was so strong and there was a great amount of sort of proof that customers were interested in this product, we had, fortunately, a lot of investors contacting us. So we then decided to go ahead and raise our Series A. So we started that process October of last year and meeting with potential investors. And then in February of this year, we closed our $20 million Series A. So now what's left to do is to fulfill those pre-orders and ship the product, and that's something we're working on very, very hard. And we're starting the process of ramping up manufacturing, and then we'll be ready to fulfill those pre-orders. So that's the story. That's kind of how things evolved, and how we went from bootstrap to $33 million in investor funding, as well as pre-orders over a period of 8 months. Thank you very much for letting me share our journey.